Welcome to the Discover Terrell Podcast. I'm Sharon Harper, and I'm thrilled to invite you on a journey to uncover the hidden treasures of Terrell, Texas. Whether you're planning a weekend getaway or just dreaming of your next adventure, this podcast is your ultimate guide to our charming town. We'll explore Terrell's rich history, showcase must-visit attractions, and highlight exciting festivals and events that you won't want to miss. From local hotspots to unique experiences, we're here to show you why Terrell should be your next destination. So sit back, relax, and let's discover what makes Terrell a place worth visiting. Welcome to the February episode of Discover Terrell Podcast. We're excited about our upcoming interview with Beverly Gentry, but first, let's get to the Terrell calendar of events. So this February, we have on the 11th, Officer Candenoza Memorial Bowling Tournament will take place at Film Alley, 750 American Way, from 5 to 10 p.m. So if you'd like to come out and support all of the funds from this event, go to his wife and his daughter. On February 13th, E. Terrell will have Decades of Love, Ernie Haas, and Signature Sound. On February 15th, Terrell Heritage Market in Historic Downtown Terrell. It will be located in the Lyric Building at 115 West Moore. On the 19th, Terrell Heritage Museum will open its exhibit, Brushstrokes of Time, celebrating the life and art of Terrell resident Beverly Britton and other artists from Terrell. Be sure and go by and see that. It'll be wonderful. February 22nd, Kaufman County United Market will take place at 215 East Moore Avenue. So that's what we have coming up for the month of February. It's going to be a cold month, but some really fun things going on. So don't let the weather keep you away. So we're going to open up right now with our interview with Beverly Gentry. Beverly, hi, how are you?
Oh, so glad to be here.
Can you tell us a bit about physically where we're at this moment while we're doing this podcast?
Absolutely. We are sitting in what used to be the gentleman's parlor. We redesigned it. I had some notes that I gave to Jimmy, and Jimmy, my significant other, sat down and designed all of the cabinetry and the shelving that you see in here. And so now it is our formal library, and he also offices in here every day. So if it sounds like it's got a little bit of an echo, that's why. It's got really tall ceilings and a lot of trim, and the entry hall is right behind us.
Yes, you can tell that whoever originally built this house had some status.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to Terrell?
Absolutely. From the time I was about 20 years old, I purchased and renovated homes. This is my ninth. Believe it or not, it's not my biggest.
Wow.
I did one that was 7,600 square feet in Mineola, Texas, and that one took 2.5 years. So once I got here, I found this online. Have always loved Terrell. Lived in the Central Texas area for my entire life, and I split my time between Terrell and also in East Texas. So I came here because I saw an ad online about a HUD foreclosure, which was this house, and I told Jimmy, let's just go look at it. And so we came out to look at it. I'll tell you a funny story. He was in one end of the house and I was in the kitchen, and I called out and I said, Jimmy, honey, it's raining. And he said, well, you knew it was going to rain, Beverly. It was on the weather. And I said, no, honey, it's raining on me. And I was standing in the kitchen, and the ceiling and the roof had fallen in. And when it did, it left a big drain, and I was standing in the kitchen, or where the kitchen was supposed to be, and got rained on. So I decided right then and there this house needed a little love, and I was going to give it to it.
And this is a magnificent home.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the history of this home.
So Senator Warren was quite the entertainer, and he was a state senator. And he built this from 1897, I believe is what they said, up to 1904. So it took some time and working with architects to get it built the way that he wanted it. It's a full circle home, which means that you can go into any room, go into another room, and make a full circle of the bottom of the house. And the reason he did that is because he had a music room, and he would entertain, and people would go throughout the house. There would be dancing in some rooms, there would be food in others, but there was a constant movement within the house. And so there were a lot of rooms when we moved in that were probably not modern rooms that you would use today. So there were two parlors, a gentleman's parlor and a ladies' parlor. And now we just have the ladies' parlor across the way, and then we have the library that we designed and put in. And we turned the music room into a downstairs master suite because Jimmy was having surgery on his knee and I didn't want him to have to do the stairs. So we've repurposed a lot of the rooms, but we've left as much of the integrity of the house as we possibly could. You can tell you're sitting here, the woodwork and everything. I will tell you that I was up on ladders and down on the floor working on woodwork and restoring. And so,
wow.
Yeah.
How fun, though.
Yeah,
do you like getting your hands dirty on these projects a little bit?
I really do. Even when I was younger, there are things I'm good at. I'm good at the woodwork and the colors and things like that. When they get to that point, the paint colors, and there are a lot of things I can do. I'm not very good at carpentry, so I try to stay away from that. But the woodwork that I'm talking about is usually I strip and redo the baseboards and all of the trims.
Yes, you'll have to visit the Discover Terrell website and our visit widget, and you'll see the exterior of the home. But maybe we can talk to Beverly about getting some imagery of the inside
Absolutely.
of the home on there. Yeah, that's something that we'll work on for you listeners.
When we first got to this house, I'll tell you, it had 1.5 bathrooms and 4 bedrooms, and now it has 5 bedrooms and 5.5 bathrooms. So we've repurposed a little bit to modernize it so that it'd be really comfortable for us and our guests.
Right. It's absolutely beautiful, you guys. And it's located on Griffith Avenue in Terrell, of course, because we're on Discover Terrell Podcast. But the homes on Griffith Avenue are absolutely amazing, and I would say that the Warren House, or the Warren Mansion as we call it here, is probably one of the gems. So you had said that you have done restorations before on homes.
Yes.
Have they all been historical homes like this that have a historical marker with them, or is this kind of your biggest undertaking of a historical preservation?
What's so funny is every one of them was capable of being a historical landmark. And on 2 of the properties, this is my 9th, on 2 of the properties I did absolutely get the designation for them. But this was a historical landmark when we bought it. And so I really am looking, and I keep saying it's my last one, I've said it the last 3 times, but I look at homes that have some kind of significance historically, and the fact that they are needing a little bit of love, and then I go in, and typically, historically, I've gone in, shown my love to the house, restored and renovated it, and then within 2 years, I've moved away and done it again somewhere else. I can tell you, Terrell is absolutely going to be my home. The people here are just unbelievable. They embraced us from the time that we moved here and started working on the house. Everyone has been just exceptional. And so I found a home. And so if I'm going to restore another home, it's going to have to be here in Terrell.
Well, that's awesome. There are some beautiful homes here in Terrell that need some love. There's some that have been getting love. And so you guys that like to visit Terrell or like to see old homes, definitely drive down Griffith Avenue. You will not be disappointed. And it's very walkable now. The city of Terrell has done a lot of work on the sidewalks in this area. It's very walkable, so you can see some of the lovely homes. What was your biggest challenge with this house?
I think getting the plumbing and electrical. We had probably, I would say, 5 to 10 different people that we would contact for bids. They would come out, take one look, and go the other way, and they wouldn't even give us a bid. And so it took quite a while to get someone to work on the plumbing and the electrical.
Is there a specialty with that? I mean,
I think the fact that when you're talking about rewiring in an older home like this, you're talking about thick walls, sometimes floors, and a lot of times getting to where you would need to make those changes is really difficult. And I'll tell you a good example. We had some great local people that helped out. And I will tell you, when they did the porte cochere, which is the covered drive, right? That had to be completely, they had to shear it up and completely take off all the brick and re-brick it. It was in such bad shape. So there had been water damage here. When we first moved in, went down to the basement, and there was 18 inches of water in the basement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so immediately 2 words came to mind: sump pump, and we put 3 in there so that it would keep all that flowing out of there and stop the, decay.
And basements are unusual in this part of the world.
They really are.
I don't know if they were back in the 1800s when this house was built, or at the turn of the century, the 19th century. At the turn of the century, I don't know if that was necessarily so unusual, but was it? Or have you, since you've renovated old homes?
It was. There were a couple of things about this home that I really loved. One was the entry hall, the big doors in the front. The crew really wanted to replace those doors, and I said, no, we're going to work on the doors and keep them. And they had those big wide doors because at the turn of the century, people, they didn't go to funeral homes. And so they would lay out the coffin in the entry hall and have their friends and family come and pay their respects. And they would have that ability because of that door. So I kept the door, and we restored it.
It's a beautiful door, guys. I'm sitting here staring at it. I know y'all can't see it, but it's beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful door. And it took a lot of work. It took several days of several people working on it to get it off and make sure that we could close it properly and restore the wood on it.
So I know that you mentioned that you love Terrell, and that Terrell has responded very well to you guys. Did you have help from Terrell when you were doing this, preserving this piece of Terrell's history? And what can Terrell do more to help?
Well, I will tell you, we did utilize a lot of the local folks when we could. And so we had some really good folks that worked on the house. When it comes to the banking side or money for renovations, so we paid cash for the home, and it was a HUD repo. And if you want a HUD repo, you go, you look at it, you give them exactly what they ask for, the way that they want it, and you may get it. And so we really did want this house, and we decided that, okay, we'll just pay cash for it. And when we went to look at financing at various banks, not just here but also in Dallas, they're like, it's in a pretty bad disrepair, so we're not interested. But you can refinance it after you've renovated it. And so we did do a small loan to refinance a portion of it to regain some of the money from it.
Right. That has to be such an undertaking, I can only imagine. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the house here. I want to talk about your newest endeavor in Historic Downtown Terrell. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I decided 14 months of renovating this home was just not enough. I needed to do something else. So I had driven by. There was a beautiful home at 115 East Moore on Moore Street, Moore Avenue. And it's just gorgeous. It has this mural of a little girl who's watering sunflowers, and it was very inviting. And I saw a sign in the window for the first time. And I went by there and I said, okay, I have been in financial services for 47 years, been very successful at it. And I have, for 40 years, I've dreamed of having my own restaurant, having my own place. And I decided, okay, this may just be it. I'm 63 years old. If I'm ever going to do it, it's probably time. And sure, why not? Let's in the middle of a recession, let's open a restaurant. And so we are working on the build out now, and I will tell you that the city has been phenomenal. From the inspectors, I can't say enough. I will tell you, without saying names, the inspectors have been amazing. We've talked to Paddock and worked with them, the Economic Development Committee, and they have been so supportive in this endeavor. And So I'm just looking forward to bringing some yummy alternatives to the town and have a place where everybody can come and feel comfortable and have a nice meal.
Yes, and we'd love to invite you all the listeners, to Historic Downtown Terrell. It really is a cute downtown. It's very quaint, and a lot of great things are going to happen. And we're so excited because I think Lula Mays will be a big anchor in the new things that are coming to downtown. So we're so excited. Tell us a little bit more about the name. Why Lula Mays?
Lula May is my great-grandmother on my mother's side. And when I was 3 years old, she would sit me up on the counter and I would watch her make biscuits and make greens and do all of the cooking, Southern cooking you can imagine. And she was the consummate Southern lady. And I always aspired to be like her. I ended up working on Wall Street, so we all know that I wasn't that sweet Southern belle. I have my moments. But I did work on Wall Street for all those years, and I decided in my older age, I'm gonna just relax a little bit. And I'm going to slow my flow, and I'm going to be more like Lula May. And I decided that needed to be the name of my restaurant.
So you're going to have some biscuits.
I will have the best biscuits you have ever had.
I love biscuits. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Telling you. I make a blueberry biscuit that would just make you cry.
Yeah,
it is
probably
so good.
would. Because right now I haven't been eating bread too much. So it probably would make me cry, Beverly. Literally make me cry. That'll be the first thing I do when I go off my diet, Jess. Jess is... Yeah, she does not want to have a microphone on her today. Jessica with the Terrell Historical Society is the one that does our podcast for us. She does the technical work, and she hates it when I call her name out in the middle of a podcast. Love you, Jess. So you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for opening Lula Mays and where the name came from. I know that opening up, you probably have a vision for downtown. Tell us a little bit.
I do. I think it's really growing, and I see some businesses going in there. There are some very successful people. You look at Whisked Away, you look at Terrell Coffee Company. They do such a great job with their customer service. And that's one of the things that really embraced me and made me want to go downtown, is just visiting those places. And those folks have the kind of customer service that I aspire to. And so I really admire both of them tremendously. But I think that going forward, we're going to have a lot of restaurants. I think we need some gift shops and places for people to shop. We have a few of them down there now, some really good folks. I would say, Miss Reisinger's place is just amazing. I go there probably once a week to try to see what's new. And so
Her Brighton selection is always awesome.
I know, it is. It's so good. And I really have enjoyed that. But I do think that we need more young people downtown. And I think to get that, we're going to have some trendy places. We're going to have some after-hours places. Also, entertainment, things that they can do.
Right. So I know we are kind of downtown. We're building that as a hub for dining, shopping, and culture. Because we have the museum down there, and they're doing their, as we said earlier in the events, they're doing an art exhibit and different things. How do you see Lula Mays contributing to that vision and helping it along?
I think that, it's funny because I talked to all of the shopkeepers, before I ever got this lease. And one of the things that I say, same way I feel about business, is that there's enough business for everyone. I'm going to refer people to the bakery. I'm going to refer them to have coffee. I'm going to have them go to other places. And I'm hopeful that they will do the same for me. I really believe they will. Okay. And I think that's what it's going to take for all of us to be successful, is just to promote one another and support one another.
Yeah, a lot of camaraderie among those downtown merchants and restaurants. So when we talk about culture, and what is your menu going to look like?
It's funny. It's changed and evolved. I think that it's going to be primarily Southern because I'm really good at that, and that's what Lula May was good at. And there are going to be a couple of French things that are shoved in there. We're going to have some sandwiches and also quiches and things like that are primarily French, but still are things that you and I are used to eating every day, but have a little bit of French flair to them. One of the reasons I lean toward that is when I was in high school, I was raised lower middle class, Garland, Texas. I decided that I wanted to be fancy once in a while. there was a little place that I would go to called La Boule Miche, and it's no longer there, of course. That was a long time ago. But I would go in there and have a piece of quiche, some chocolate, mousse, and sit there with a glass of iced tea and really just relax and enjoy company, whoever I took with me. And they treated me like a princess, even though I was a junior or senior in high school when I went there. And that's really what I want, is I want everyone from people who are in high school to people who are on fixed incomes to people who want a $50 steak. Come on. We can cover all of that and have a place that everyone's comfortable, I think.
That's awesome. I love this. I love like a brunch. That's what I kind of liked about the
We
idea.
will have Saturday and Sunday brunch.
That'll be awesome. I love that.
And a full-service bar to go with it, so we can have mimosas and we can have Bloody Marys. And
we're all high-fiving here, just so you know. We like our mimosas and our brunches. We're a bunch of girls. We will make the men suffer with us. As someone who has embraced Terrell as their home, you said that you really, Terrell is your home now and you're loving it. What do you think there's one thing that people should know and appreciate about our community?
I think that Terrell is cultured in and of itself, but we have close proximity to Dallas. If I were talking to someone and saying, hey, please move here, I would say you can have a small town atmosphere where everyone cares about everyone and visits their neighbors, and you can also be within 30 minutes of Dallas if you want to go see a play, and you can eat downtown and you can shop downtown here in Terrell, and this is a small town community with a big heart.
It does have a big heart.
Yeah.
So I love that because that is very inspiring, and that's basically what I would tell someone as well. And I grew up here, so sometimes it's nice to hear it from someone outside that's moved in, because I've always felt that way. But you don't ever know if it's just, it's home. So
it is.
I love that someone from outside.
It's a great place. It really is. Great people.
How do you balance your demands between all this stuff, Beverly?
Well, it's funny. I am still working on Wall Street part of the day. We got the house renovated, so that time has pretty much passed. And I have that time back, and that's going to be dedicated to the restaurant. And then I spend a lot of time with the Social Science Club and also with the Friends of the Library and do some volunteer work, that really makes my day. I mean, that's what really gives me my joy, is to give back to the community. And again, I was really embraced. All of the clubs that I asked to join, I was embraced, and I felt part of it from day one. So,
great. I know that Lula Mace has not opened yet. No. Can you give us any sneak peek on when you think it's going to open?
Well,
we're excited.
I'm going to say late March, first part of April, probably late March. I'm really trying to get through and get everything done. I have been, and anybody that wants to follow me personally on Facebook, I put pictures out there all the time of here's where we are, here's what we've done. We just got the granite on the bar. It's a full-service bar. It's gorgeous. It's like 22 feet long. And so it's going to be a really nice place to gather if you want to. The other thing I was going to mention about Lula Mays is we have a private dining room. So if you have people who want to have parties or afternoon teas or even small art shows or whatever, then we have capacity to be able to help.
What is the capacity on that room?
There are 5 tables of 4, so basically 20 people at a time can be in there, but it could be a come and go if people have an art exhibit or whatever.
Yeah, it's a great area for maybe baby showers and wedding showers and things like that. Or just when my girlfriends get together, we're way too loud. You'll probably want to put us in that back room.
I'm going to put you in the room.
She's already been warned. She will put me in the back room. Well, that's great. Beverly, it's been such a pleasure to hear your story. And this house is absolutely amazing. And I promise you, followers on Discover Terrell, we will get some pictures out there of the inside of this home because it's absolutely breathtaking. She has done a wonderful job. When you said this house needed some love, it didn't need love, and you have loved it well.
Thank you so much. And it has been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So I want to invite you guys to Tune in next month. The spring has a lot of things going on in Terrell, so the Discover Terrell podcast will cover all of those things coming, like our Terrell Jubilee that will take place April 24th through 27 in Terrell. A lot of other great things going on. Tune in next month for Discover Terrell podcast. Talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Discover Terrell Podcast, brought to you by the Terrell Chamber of Commerce and Convention and Visitors Bureau, with production assistance from Jessica King. For more information on the exciting places to explore and events happening in Terrell, visit us at discoverterrell.com or follow us on our Discover Terrell Facebook page. We look forward to sharing more of our town's rich history and fun adventures with you soon.